Welcome back, everyone, to Unmuted Love. I'm C. Eshelman, your host. And if you're raising a child from difficult beginnings of adoption, foster care, neglect, and abuse, you've probably experienced what we're going to talk about today. Yep, you've been lied to. You've been lied to by your beautiful little children and your teens, right? Not so little anymore. You've been flat out, creatively, over and over lied to by your child. You've stood there thinking, are you serious right now, kiddo? Today, we're going to dive deeper into the psychology of lying. We're unpacking why that happens so much, why it isn't the emergency your brain screams it is, and how to respond in ways that build trust rather than shame. Plus, we're going to look at the science, right? The neuroscience. We're looking at research on lying in kids and adults. We're going to unpack the long game and even address what happens when your child sees you lie. Uh-oh, mirror, mirror on the wall time. Yep. Ugh, that's hard to face. Here's a stunner for you. Turns out the average American statistically tells 11 lies a week, according to new research from University of Notre Dame, Professor Anita Kelly. What? That's amazing. 11 lies a week by adults? Okay, so pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea and take a deep breath. We're going to dive right in. Okay, why do kids lie? Well, first of all, first things first, lying is normal. It's a developmental rite of passage. What does the research say? Well, it says by age 4, most kids are telling their first lies. And by 7, they're getting really, really good at it. But for our kids from difficult beginnings, this isn't just developmental. We're dealing with survival brain lying. Kids exposed to trauma often have nervous systems wired to stay safe above all else. And the truth? It can feel seriously unsafe to them. I'm sure you've sussed out already why kids lie. Some common reasons, though, are these. First of all, to avoid punishment. Okay, obvious. Or your disapproval. Also pretty obvious. To dodge shame, right? To dodge a shame trigger, which isn't always so obvious, which for trauma survivors can feel life-threatening. Also, to preserve their fragile attachment to you, because you might throw them back. If you find out that they lie or that they did something wrong, you might decide you don't want them anymore. Now, of course, that's not really an issue for you, but doesn't mean it's not living inside of them. Kids also lie to gain control in their chaotic world. And their chaotic world is inside themselves, not necessarily outside. They also lie to get their needs met in places they learned were untrustworthy, like with parents. Trauma also disrupts impulse control. So sometimes they lie before they think, right? They think of their survival brain like a smoke alarm set off by burnt toast, not just fire. The lie comes automatic. Later will come the thinking, often much later. And some will go to the bitter end, insisting, I swear I didn't do it. I swear I'm not lying. I swear. Oh boy, let's dive in a little deeper to just ages and stages of lying. I know it's hard to believe, but there really is information about this. When you have children under the age of 6 years old, you can expect some gnarly tall tales out of their mouths. For example, you're watching them play with a cat, then they hit the cat, and then they yell at you, I didn't hit the cat. Okay. Or you know they went upstairs to brush their teeth, but they've only been gone 30 seconds. And then they come back saying, I already brushed my teeth. Of course not. You might get a lie like this. Someone must have robbed us while we were at the park. I'm sure a robber took your $20. Okay. So do you want to hear some good parent responses? In your very best, your very sweetest voice, you could say, oh, honey, I love your imagination. And let's go brush those teeth now. Or, oh, babe, I love that you are so creative with your thinking. And let's be nice to the cat. Something like that. If it's about the money, well, we'll talk about that later. Because, of course, there are some issues of restitution that have to be talked about, but not necessarily right here. So kids also, between 7 and 12 years old, they lie frequently. The kids definitely know they're lying, often to avoid trouble. Your best bet for a parenting response is your very soft, serious voice. So for example, thank you for telling me. Let's figure this out together, okay? So parents, I know you're thinking, what? Why am I not supposed to call their bluff and tell them that I know they're flat out lying? Well, listen, that is a confrontation that will activate their threat system and trigger their survival brain more. You will get more lying from them, and it's really not worth it. Your relationship is more important than winning the yes, you are lying contest, right? You are lying. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are, right? There's no win to that particular argument. And then if you have teens, you might find that teens lie for privacy reasons. They want to just have their own life and they don't want you to know more about them than they know about themselves, or to get out of trouble, or maybe just independence to do what they want to do, especially when they think you'll not approve of it. Here's a parent response you can think about that may make you scratch your head a little bit, but that's okay. This is a learning experience here. And I'm pretty sure some of my suggestions about how to respond will make you scratch your head. So you could say, hey, I know sometimes you want space, and I know you want your privacy. I trust you're making good choices, and I'm here if you need me. It's okay if you tell me. You're not going to be in trouble. This is the time of your life when you're going to be doing things or wanting to do things that probably I won't really want to approve of. Also, I was your age once. So I don't know if that makes you scratch your head or not, but that is the best approach if you want to have less lying and more truth telling. Let's talk a little bit about trauma and lying. So there are generally 4 types of trauma-driven lying. One is defensiveness. It's pitched by the survival brain. The child will scream at you, I didn't do it, even when they did, and even when they know you know they did. A good parent response would be, it's hard for you to tell me what happened, but you're safe now and you can tell me when you're ready. So that might seem hard to say, but that's a really good non-shaming approach to a I didn't do it lie. Number 2 would be impulsivity, caused by impaired impulse control from toxic stress hormones flooding their prefrontal cortex, which is where a person's slow the roll brakes reside, right? In your prefrontal cortex, that's where the brakes are. That's where it says, hold up, don't lie. That's not a good thing to do. But kids don't have that part of their brain well developed, especially kids with trauma. So what you can say is this, whoa, 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 that popped out really fast. Let's slow down. Let's take a minute. I'd like to have you breathe and gather yourself and try again in a minute. Okay? Come back when you're ready. Believe it or not, attention needing can lead to big, hairy stories for kids to feel seen. A savvy trauma-informed parent might say back, whoa, babe, that's quite a story. You don't have to dazzle me. You're loved just as you are. You can just tell me what really happened. I don't need a big story. I'm still going to love you. And then finally, the power play. Some kids will lie to control the narrative or to push your boundaries. A good response to that would be, well, this feels kind of tricky. I'm not here to trap you, honey, but I do want to understand what's going on. What you're telling me isn't making a lot of sense to me, so let's take a second to figure it out. Those responses, parent responses, might seem a little weird to you, and you might have to go back and listen to them again, but I promise you they're going to get you more truth than lies. And that's what we're talking about here today, is how to get more, really for less. Less effort, less upset, less threats, right? Slow it down, be present, give them the benefit of the doubt, and also understand that all people lie. So here are some things that really don't work when your kid lies to you. So yelling at them, that doesn't work to keep them from yelling again. Demanding confessions out of them, punishing the lie, labeling your child a liar, lecturing them about lying. Studies show that punishing lying actually increases it. Aged 4 to 8 kids lied more when threatened with punishment, but were more honest when given moral reasons. Punishment fuels the survival brain. We want connection, not blind compliance. I know that's hard to believe because sometimes we just want them to do what they're told and to say what really happened and to be compliant, but that's just not who we're parenting right now. So we need to parent the brain of the child we actually have. What are the things that do work? We need to build a truth-safe home. So here are some pointers. Stay calm. Don't yell. Resist shaming and moralizing. Focus on repair, not punishment. How can they repair rather than punishing them to be sorry? Praise honesty. That was brave of you. Thank you for telling me. Normalize mistakes. Hey, we all mess up. I care what you do next, not what you did last. So let's go forward with more honesty. Trust is kind of like a bank account. Every truth is a deposit, and every reactive response on our part is a withdrawal. So let's work really hard to keep our account full. Here are some tactics you might take into consideration. Rather than saying, did you do this when you know they did? Ask, hey, what happened here? If you know the truth, I know it's hard to tell me. It's safe. Let's figure it out together. If lying persists, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, you might say, that story doesn't match what I know. Let's pause and try again later. So these are open, loving, benefit of the doubt kinds of questions, even when you know they're lying to you. Remember, they're lying to you, it's not personal. It's brain. They're afraid. And so let's create an environment where we assume the best and we make room for them to make mistakes and to come back and tell the truth. I always like to say at the front, hey, babe, you're not in trouble. I just want to know what happened. I'm interested in knowing what happened. And then I want to be able to help you, period. That's all there is to it. So let's move this forward a little bit into the mirror part of this presentation. What if your child saw you lie? Oh, kids wired by trauma learn about trust by watching us. If they've seen us lie, even a small fib like, I'm on my way, even if they can see that you're not really on your way to work, you're actually still at home drinking coffee, here's how you can repair it. Number one is to just own it. You know, son, earlier I said I was on my way to work, but I wasn't. I was still drinking coffee at home. And that wasn't honest. I'm embarrassed and I'm sorry. I should have just told my boss the truth that I just wasn't ready in time and I'll be there as soon as I can. I'm sorry you saw me lie. I'm sorry I lied and I'm trying to do better. Number two, you can explain how your brain reacted. I lied because I didn't want to feel embarrassed in front of my friend. I should have told the truth and I didn't. And I'm working on it because it's not okay to just lie like that. Just because I'm embarrassed, it's okay to feel embarrassed. And I just need to learn that. Number three is to model repair. You can say things like, I want to be honest even when it's messy and hard, and I'm really working on this. So yes, I told you I didn't have any money, and yes, I do obviously have some money. So I'm sorry I lied to you. What's really true is I didn't want you to have the money. I'm working on telling you the truth rather than telling you something that isn't true. Number four, finally, invite trust. If you ever see me fib, babe, even little ones, please ask me about it. We can figure it out together. I want your help with this because I am learning too. So letting your child see your vulnerability teaches them honesty is practice, not perfection. And that's really what we're all looking for, is just being human in practice, not being human perfectly, because of course that doesn't really exist. And then I finally want to talk a little bit about adult lying reality check. Here are the stats on that. We all lie. Stats don't lie. 75% of adults tell 0 to 2 lies per day. On average, 1 to 4 per day. That's a lot of lying. In one study, it showed 1 lie a day for community adults and 2 lies a day for students. And then it showed that 60% of students can't go 10 minutes without a lie. Oh my goodness, that's quite a statistic. I'm not sure how valid it is. I'm going to have to look at those statistics, but 60% can't go 10 minutes without a lie. Holy moly. 90% are little white lies. And little white lies are those ones that, just keep people feeling good. They're nicey nice lies. They're not really that nice though. When I ask my husband if I look fat in these pants, if he lies to me and tells me I look great in everything, I'm really going to be a little angry with him because I really want to know if I look fat in these pants. I'm going to change my pants. I don't want to look fat in them. So him telling me I look great when I look fat is a lie I don't need. Thank you very much. It's not actually kind to me to tell me that lie. Americans tell 11 lies a week. That's 1.65 on average. That's a lot of lying. Lies are very common but not harmless. Studies show cutting down on lying improves people's health, their stress, and their relationships. So when lying feels out of control, your own lying or your child's lying, if it's chronic or compulsive, it's important to look deeper. There might be shame, fear, or serious unmet needs that need to be addressed. Also, you might need to reflect on your response as parents. Are you fueling their fear? Increase safe, connected time with your child. Doing fun things, playing, enjoying each other. Not necessarily anything about lying, but that strengthens your relationship. It makes lying less significant. And then seek trauma-informed therapy if needed. So chronic lying can be a red flag, but it's not a label. Doesn't mean your child is pathological or sociopathic or they're going to be a liar the rest of their lives. No, it doesn't. Actually, it doesn't mean that at all. Lots of people lie a lot in childhood, and by the time they get to adulthood, they never lie at all. I'm one of those people that generally tries very hard not to tell lies. But when I was doing this research, I realized, well, I am guilty of lying sometimes. And why do I do it? Well, I do it sometimes to get out of trouble. I do it sometimes to look better than I am. Like I slept through my alarm. And instead of saying I slept through my alarm, I said, oh, there was a lot of traffic and that's why I'm late. Well, that's a bald lie. Why do I do that? It's almost a habit to do that from childhood. So I had to look back at when do I lie? And I realized that it does come from childhood, mine. It's infrequent, but when it happens, it's automatic. It's like it comes out of a fear place that I didn't know was there. So that's great. This was great for me to sort of look at 11 lies a week seemed like a lot to me. When I looked at it, mine is more like one every few weeks that are automatic, fear-based, and really senseless. Like I could easily have told the truth, but the lie popped out impulsively. And that's very much how it was when I was a child. I would impulsively lie because I didn't want to be in trouble so bad. So I'm being honest here with you all because I don't want to pretend like I'm different than you. Somehow I am not like these people. That's not true. I'm like you. I'm like kids. I was a trauma kid and I still have some of the leftover impulses. And I think that's important. Now, I'm pretty sure my children never saw me lie because I was really aware that I didn't want to be that parent for them. But that doesn't mean I wasn't lying. It just meant I was hiding it. So I've thought a lot about that. And I know that I just will do better. You know, the more I know, the better I do, right? When I know better, I do better, just like you. So here's what I want you to remember. Lying is a signal of fear and safety needs, not a moral failure, despite how it just felt for me to tell you that I lie every few weeks. I feel embarrassed. I feel some shame, but really, I'm very aware that I'm a good person. It's not moral failure. It's fear that does that, and I can heal my fear. Children learn by watching you. Your honesty matters. So the best you can, repair if you're dishonest, and be honest as much as you can. And I think most of us strive for that anyway. Remember, truth isn't perfection, it's a practice. And your calm, connected response is the medicine. Okay, parents, that's it on lying. Boy, I had a hard time getting through that because the whole concept of lying, I realized, ooh, boy, having to admit that I lie once in a while, yeah, it's embarrassing to me. Also, human. So own your humanness and also value your children because they're human too. They're not immoral. They are just learning how to be safe in their own skin, in their own lives after trauma experiences, just like me and just like some of you. So this week, when your child fibs a little, pause, breathe. Choose compassion over a crisis, and you will be doing this just exactly the way you need to. Your child has you, and that is what matters. Until next time on Unmuted Love, stay brave, parents. Stay honest. Keep loving, because you know your love matters when more than love is required. See you next time.